so we can kind of keep it relevant. I took out the word pandemic because I think we're kind of out of it for the most part because our vaccines, people are traveling like crazy. And so it's how to run a profitable extended stay. And I say profitable meaning that you know what your numbers are. You're not just getting in revenue, which is just money coming in, but after that money comes in and after you pay out all your expenses, then that's what I'm talking about profit. You got lots left over, okay? And that you actually feel like you're getting ahead of your bills and in the game and everything like that, okay? So you don't need a lot of prior experience to do this because everything's so new, and you don't need a big investment at all. You don't actually need any money at all once you get the hang of this, all right? So for I'll tell you who I am, but we're going to be talking about how you can acquire real estate. That means you can control it, and there's so many different forms of controlling it, and you don't have to spend any money to do that. And this is all geared towards having time freedom. So not just making money and being changing yourself to a new job that you created, but actually having some time freedom so you can enjoy your family and do the things that you know you're going to regret, do the important stuff. And you don't need much experience. But now, before I dive into this, I want to show you guys some of the profits that you can make once you get involved with this. And this is really important. To me, this is my 8-unit building. This is how I got out of my engineering job. Just with these 8 units, I purchased it, had to come up with a lot of money to come up with it, over $100,000. And now I got to update this slide. And now, after all said and done, most of them are furnished rentals. The net income after expenses, after I paid everybody all the bills, is about $8,000. So that allowed me to pay health care for the family and leave my engineering job. I didn't need 100 rentals. I don't need a big portfolio. Just need something simple that doing furnished rentals does it. So with that experience, I went and talked to another landlord and secured one of the units of his places. There's actually 3 units in here, but each one of them does about $730 to $832 per month of profit. So that's good. I have no down payment for this. I just walked in, paid security deposit, and got up and going. And same with here. Once you know how to market, so that you know that you can find people that are looking for longer term assignments, a longer term stays, you can do just about anything. I talked to the mom and pop landlord of this little house here, and it brings in $887 a month. Same here, talked to another landlord management company. This brings one of these, one of the 12 units that are here, and it brings in $728 a month. This is a management company. We have 2 units here, one on top, one on bottom. Each of them brings about $862. So you can see, you can stack these together, these little profit centers together. You can have a diverse portfolio. Here's a small one. It brings in $470. I like it standalone. If you have a dog that barks, people love this because you don't disturb anybody. Here's the biggest one. My biggest spread is $1,643 for this halfplex here. It's in just an okay neighborhood, but it's got 3 beds and 2 baths, and nice spread on that. So I started coaching people. Remember, I was reluctant to, but it makes a big difference for a lot of people I meet. This is Derek. He uses this $222 to accelerate the payoff on his credit cards. And Rochelle would talk about her a lot. She was trying to keep a wish to her friend that was dying, so she needed some money. This brings in $900 and allows her to keep her promises. And this is Tim in Wisconsin. Last time I was there traveling, in 30 days he started creating $1,000 a month of cash flow after expenses. This is in Appleton, Wisconsin, downtown Appleton. So this is for all of you guys, because you guys, if you're willing to, I have very structured, still an engineer. I got a good plan, and I'm always fine tuning it. If you're interested in retiring early, like I did, I got out at 50. I replaced my income. This is for you. If you want to take action and you know there's resistance, you may sabotage yourself, and you may be surrounded by people who think you can't do things. Well, this is for you because we give you the support that you need. Okay. But it's not for everybody, but it's for you guys. I'm going to skip this portion. And I got a big gift for you guys. So stick around, please. I got a big gift for you. And like you may know, I'm Al Williamson. I'm typically speaking from stages, and I'm getting back on stages. I'm always talking about landlord science, which is the collection of ideas to help landlords increase their net income by adding on income streams like little turbochargers and reduce your expenses. All that's important stuff. You can make more money, but you don't have to just raise rents to make money as a landlord. And I'm on discussion panels and people are starting to figure out who I am. I rent 27 corporate housing units in Sacramento, California. Remember, you don't need a big portfolio. I don't even need this many. Some of these are partnerships, okay? And I've trained thousands. I've been training people since 2014 when I got into it. But it wasn't always so easy. This is what I wanted to, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen here for just a second. Because I don't want you guys to think I just blazed through and just happened. You know, there's obstacles along the way that when I reached out, when I got smart and started reaching out to people and asking for help on how to get through these things, then I can blaze through things. But I would struggle things on my own because I was independent and not always the best working with a group of people. My pride got in the way for me asking for help. And that's a very expensive waste of money. I was also a bigger pockets fan, still am. I started blogging the same time Josh Dorkin started, and we're good friends, dinner, family together. And bigger pockets is always talking about, no, gurus, you don't need to ask anybody. You can just ask this community and we'll help you out. You don't need to. And that really hurt me. Because I didn't have a mentor. I was stuck in a mindset. And you really do want to be around people who are doing what you're trying to accomplish. You know, that's the fastest way to accomplish your goal, to get in that same mindset. You know, that took me a long time to figure that out. Long time. Even now, right now, what I do, I pay $1,000 a month to be in a mastermind group of people who are making much more than me, and because of their mindset, that's how I do it. And sometimes I think, man, that's a lot of money. But if you're using those relationships and you're working together and you're working as a team, you can make much more than it costs. And that's the goal. But it was a mindset shift. Everything was all my limitations of what I learned as I was growing up. So that was a big thing. Switching over to extended stays, first I was 2011. You should know I was in San Francisco working for the National Park Service, putting solar panels on Alcatraz Island, the famous Alcatraz Island. And I had a year of staying right there in San Francisco. Then I started Airbnb because it was getting popular back in 2011. So I was a big fan. I love being an Airbnb host, a guest, but I didn't want to host because it was too much work. They were bringing me cookies and all kinds of stuff, chatting me up. I loved being a guest, spoiled guest, but I didn't want to host because it was just too much work. So I eventually did in 2015. I started setting aside one of my units in that apartment complex just to do Airbnb. And it was good. I started making twice the profit on that one, for that one unit, started doubling the profit of that unit. But it was work. It was just like, I was always had to be on point, you know, to answer questions, to help people check in. Did they get in okay? Did they, everything all right? You know, am I going to get review? And then I got a month-long request and I did that and I compared the numbers. And I saw, man, my profit is about the same. It's a little bit less, but it's about the same. But I didn't have that. I'm not fried all the time. I don't have to take off from my family to go and deal with something. So I just started focusing on month-long stays. And then because I was managing my calendar so that all you could do is a month-long stay, I started getting 4, 5 months bookings. And then I compare that profit of these long bookings to what I was doing as the short-term Airbnb, and I see that I was making more. My profits were higher. So that's what started all this. Figuring that out. No one helped me figure it out how to do it, teach me the marketing, things like that. So when I started writing about that, that's when people start asking me, what you doing? Because I'm burning out as an Airbnb host. And that's how I started sharing what I'm sharing with you guys now. That's the backstory of it. It wasn't always pretty, it wasn't elegant, but that's how it happened. Here, let me get back to here. All right, so raise your hand if you can see my screen. I just switched back. I think you can see it. Perfect. All right, so it wasn't always so easy. I wanted to tell you guys that I'm not an instant overnight success. We made it through the pandemic for the most part. And in the process, everyone, either they went out of business or they started doing extended stays to stay afloat. And I've been telling people for years that this is recession proof. And then we learned it's pandemic proof, doing 31 days and longer stays. Even the CEO of Airbnb came out on CNN telling people, if you want to stay afloat, book long-term stays, book monthly stays. And that's still the case. There's lots of shorter stays coming now. There's like a pent-up demand of short stays, but I'm just going to stay out there on extended stays because here in Sacramento, California, and for many of my students all around the country, when you look at your numbers at the end of the day, it's more profitable. Okay. Because even while travel's restricted, which it was, there's always this demand for project-based work and emergency healthcare services, plumbers and road work. All that stuff needs to keep going. All right. So tuning into essential workers is amazing. And all these companies, these national brands, they're focusing on it too now. Like 1 out of every 4 things they build or they try to acquire is an extended stay hotel because they see that market is growing. And not only market growing, it's also starting to divide into one that wants regular blue collar pricing and one that wants more luxurious items and offerings. So it's starting to divide right now. You see Extended Stay America, they're coming out with a premier or premium version of their company. And speaking of Extended Stay America, they blazed right through 2020 and made a profit of $96 million, where a lot of companies are just now starting to open their doors. Made nothing and lost money and just try to survive on government subsidies. Okay, so they made it through. There was a dip in April, but quickly bounced back. You can see that's the trend in their occupancy, which is kind of like the gas in their tank. You know, they're back up to full. 80% is where they want to be. So they've recovered quickly. Now we know there's all these phones and mobile devices, and that has an effect on real estate. We know that, and that's just increasing the phenomenon. We're not going to. Well, I'd be asking you guys a question if we were in person. Do you think we're going to go backwards and be less mobile? We have all these mobile devices, and you would say, no, we're going to be more mobile, more independent, more working off of the internet. And so that's what the situation is. But here's the problem: is that most people have no clue about this market. They don't know that they can reach their financial goals by just tapping into the cash flow that the extended stay segment of the hospitality market has, because these extended stay hotels that are right down the street from you guys are nothing but watered down apartments. That's what they are. And that's what's amazing. Now, when you're growing up, you're playing Monopoly around the table for Thanksgiving, Christmas. All of that is supposed to be grooming you to know that you trade your houses for hotels because hotels have more cash flow. It's been happening since the beginning of Monopoly and back in the 30s. Okay, same thing. Get out of doing houses and start the hospitality industry. That is a fast track for wealth and for cash flow. That's what the whole thing's about. Now, inside of the hospitality industry, there's a segment. different segment. And one of them is the 30-day stays. People say, you know, it's more profitable to house one person for 30 days than it is to house 30 people in a night. And you're a lot less fragmented. You don't need so much overhead, less wear and tear. There's not the same a number of people who want 30-day stays as there is people who are looking for 4 nights and 7 nights. But there's plenty for you, plenty for us. we should snag the people who are looking for longer term stays because they want to stay in a residential setting. They don't want to be in a hotel for over 20 days, you know. So here's the solution. It's the specialized training just for you guys, for people who seek the largest amount of cash flow with the least amount of work. This, what I'm sharing with you, is a lot less time intensive than doing short stays. And it turns into passive cash flow because you can create systems for this. There's not so much churn. And I got three things that I like to share. It's kind of like a combination lock. Three things that you need to unlock this, so that you want to get going quickly and you want to actually be profitable. And profitable, I mean that you can get all your startup costs back and start making money, definitely within a year, hopefully 7 months. Okay, that's the actual break even. But you should start making positive cash flow in 30 days. Right now, the secret to doing that is to copy people who are already successful. Don't reinvent the wheel. And you, if you own rentals, awesome, that's amazing. But you don't have to wait for people to move out. You can simply talk to other landlords quickly because you already have the credibility, and expand that way, just like a regular hotel business would, a regular financial institution would just look at. They're trying to create cash flow and get up and going. They don't have to own it. And secret 3 is you don't need a lot of money to do this. You just need a really solid idea. Okay. Well, the first secret is I learned this out of graduate school. This is so important, and I think about this all the time. Is Jim Hartley was my mentor coming out of graduate school. I was working for an engineering firm, and I was trying to show them all I could do. I saw how innovative I was, and he pulled me in to his office, had me sit down, and he told me that I was irritating everybody. They wanted me to learn how they do it first, and then offer suggestions. Basically, here's the cleanup version. That was the cleanup version. He was so polite to me, but basically he's saying that they're a profitable company. They know what they're doing, and I just getting out of graduate school. I'm just starting. I do not know what I'm doing. And they have maybe 50 years of experience on me, and I will never catch up. I just need to learn their processes is how I catch up. And that's important. It's important because we don't have to be original. We have to copy successful people, and that's how you start turning a profit. Okay, that's why it's important to do this. You know, Tony Robbins, he has this great saying. He says, models someone who's already successful because success leaves clues. You want to do what successful people do and just fast track it. Like McDonald's, they come into a community, they set up the burger shop, and then Burger King comes and says, oh yeah, there's a pent up demand. We don't even have to take any risks. We can just do what McDonald's does. And that's a smart way to do it. You don't have to be original. You just have to be profitable. All right. And you guys have these extended stay hotels all around you. There might be 6 or 7 different brands, and each brand may have a couple of hotels in your area, all of them having 200 to 300 rooms in there, right? Raise your hand if you've seen an extended stay hotel near you. Raise your hand. I want to see it. Yeah, good. Yeah. What about the rest of you guys? Yeah. All right. So they've already done the homework for you. They wouldn't have spent $20 million on the property and building the thing if your area wouldn't support it. All you have to do is drive the parking lot around 9, 10 at night, and that's all the market research you need to do. You know what the pricing is, you know how much they charge, you know there's a demand, you know, I should tell you about 80% of the people staying there are staying for 20 days. Okay, about 80%. At least the other 20%, some of them are staying for shorter times and some of them are staying for much longer times. And that's who we're going after, the people who are on the longer end. We definitely can pick them up. All right. I think of David and Goliath. These big corporate brands are Goliath. You know, Goliath was a giant of a man, and he was trained warrior. He's the best of the best. And David was a little shepherd boy who didn't like all the trash talking Goliath was doing. So they went to battle, and David was victorious because he was fighting off in the distance. He was good with a sling. He was good at fighting from a distance. He didn't have to get up there and do a sword battle on Goliath's terms. So that's how you beat a giant. You work on your own terms, your advantage, okay? You'll be successful if you focus on your advantage, and your advantage is this, and you're going against this big generic thing, okay, in a residential area next to an IHOP, all right? You can create something that has a residential feel to it, and you can get them closer to a washer and dryer. That's what you need for extended stays, is really important. And you just create a higher value situation at a lower price. And every day, no matter where you are, if you know how to market, people are going to come to you and pay you those near hotel rates. You know, they're not going to give you all their budget, they're not going to give you all their housing allowance, but they're going to save money with you. That's what they want to do, and that's why they're there. And you just got to serve these people. Okay, that's the first insight. It's just compete against the extended stay hotels that are already in your area. If there are none in your areas, I would say go to where there are, because they've already done the research. They know how much to price it. It's all done for you. You can beat them all the time, and that's all you need to replace your W-2 income and create the cash flow that you're looking for. Okay, just copy their homework, and you got it. Because these essential workers like nurses and traveling iron workers and IT professionals, these essential workers are out there. They need places for months and months at a time, and they need places whether it's a recession or if there's a pandemic. They need a place. All right, just serve them. What do you guys think? Raise your hand. Hit the raise your hand button if that was good. Is that sinking in? Good, 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 good. It's sinking in. I'm telling you the truth. It's as simple as that. The homework's been done for you. Okay. For me, I was scared of cutting my job loose because of healthcare costs. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I was afraid of that. And I had all kinds of head trash telling myself that if I did it, it was going to be, you know, my family might suffer and all that stuff. It's just, we have, you know, overcoming your own self is part of becoming financially free. Learning how to put the noise in your head away. That's just so important to me. Here's something I've done, because I remember washing machines are so important. I learned how to just, for my own units, I just created this drain line. I just strap it to the wall, and I add this little air emittance valve so that I make sure that the water flows quickly. And I just tie it into the kitchen sink. And then I add these little portable washer and dryers. You know, if we were in an RV, you would have something like this. These little half-size washers and these dryers, they plug into a regular outlet now, and I have an exhaust out the window. And what my units right now, the market rates for a one bed, one bath in Sacramento, California is 1,100. And I turned this thing into a corporate rental, which means I have a washer and dryer. It's a standalone unit. So I charge that $2,192. That means it's over $1,000 difference. Okay, it's 100% increase. I didn't go buy another rental. No more down payments, no extra taxes. All right, I just doubled my income. And that is how I retired from my corporate job quickly. It's when I decided to focus on this. And that's why I advocated so many people. As easy as that. All right. Knowing what to do, how to do it. All right. Here's secret number 2. Let me get right into it. Is that you don't need to own your own rental. Owning rentals is amazing. It's a great way of creating equity and wealth that you can pass on to your children. If they're not so good for creating cash flow. And that struck out to me. And because I was very careful. I was even fixing things myself in my own rentals. And when I look at all the money I spent and how much came in, it was not impressive. And then I talking to other landlords as I was traveling around, same thing. They say that they're going to make this in cash flow on paper, and that's true, but the cost of maintaining the place wipes you all out. One paint job can wipe you out for that year. That's what's so frustrating to me, right? So that's why if you can make money off of someone else's rental and let them have the maintenance is a smart thing to do. So own rentals, yes. Rent other people's rentals and make cash flow off them, absolutely. That is how you can cover any bill that you have, cover your health care once you start renting other people's buildings. So what you do is you go talk to the landlady. You can get a place at the ideal location of your town. All right. I have some worksheets to help you figure that out. You want to be on the ideal location. You want to put the right furnishings in there, not what you want, but what that traveler wants, and not anymore. Right. And then you market the place online, offline, and social media. And you're like, oh gosh, I don't know how to market social media, but I got help for you there. Okay. And I just want to market on Airbnb. That's it. You're going to fail. Like so many people learn that if you're just waiting for Airbnb to give you someone, you're at their mercy. And that was not good, especially now that they're public and they're raising their fees, even during the pandemic. You got to be independent. Anyway, you're going to market something. People are going to find out about you, and hopefully they're going to check you out, and you're going to have reviews. You're going to have some social media, and they're going to willingly give you money, not their full budget, but a lot of it. And you go take their money, you pay the bills, you pay the utilities, Wi-Fi, things like that. And ideally, half the money goes to the bills, and the other half the money goes right into your hands. You now created cash flow rental income without owning, right? You now have cash that you can use to do what you're trying to accomplish. Cash is cash, whether you own the place or not. You still can use that cash to accomplish your goals. If it's vacations or, I just bought a car for my daughters today. All that cash just comes from rental arbitrage. She's going off to college, so that, I'm going to need another rental for that to cover those bills. So I can go buy a rental, or I can simply just rent someone else's rental and create an additional corporate housing unit. It's so much easier. Takes all the stress out of your life. Here, let me do it on one page. So you rent the right place, the right location, all right? And then you furnish it with the right furnishings, not what you want, not with the top of the line stuff, not stuff you buy brand new all the time because you want to break even quickly. I'll talk to you about that in a second. Then you learn how to market online, offline, and by social media, just like a regular hotel does. Not like an Airbnb host, but like a hotel does, because they've already figured it out. All right. There's easy ways of doing that. I'll tell you about that in a second. Then you get money from your clients that are happy to give it to you because they're saving money. You're priced less than the hotel. Again, this is, who cares about Airbnb hosts? You are priced less than the hotel. That's how you know what you're doing. All right. And then you take that money, you pay the bills, and what's left over is for you. That's how you enjoy your life. That's how you relax about money. That's how you relax about money. All right. That's what Rochelle did. She had it was a house flipper, and she liked the ups and downs. She likes the excitement of big paydays and things. But her best friend was dying of cancer. Asked her if she would sponsor her her 2 daughters. The daughters were going to go live with their grandmother, but her friend asked Rochelle if she would cover the cost of, one was in gymnastics and one was in ballet. If she'd cover those monthly costs so that they could keep going, Rochelle said, absolutely. But then when she realized it's going to be really expensive, she was going to need a job now to pay for those things. So that's when she came to me. I had been coaching some of her friends and they were successful. And she told me, Al, I don't want a job. I don't want the stress. I want to serve business travelers. I said, yep, I got it for you. You know what your friends have shown you. You just follow the 6 steps that we have lined out and you'll be just fine. And she was going on and saying, I don't always finish the stuff I start. I have good intentions, but short on money or something happens. I need you to hold my hand through this because I have to be successful. So I told her I would. I told her, what's different about what I do is I know if you're going to try to make a big transformation like they do on Biggest Losers, with this TV show where people make this weight loss transformation. Rochelle knows that show. She loves it. I said that, well, they have a support group and they have a coach. You need those things. That's how we're wired. If you ever tried a really big transformation on your own and you didn't make it, it's probably because you didn't have an accountability group and a good coach that's been through it and can answer your questions. And she said, yeah, that makes sense. And as I think about this, everyone knows this is pretty much true. If you want good grades, you get a study group and a tutor. If you want to beat a drinking addiction, you get Alcohol Anonymous and a coach. That's what you do. That's how you make a transformation. You need both, all those things together. It's really tough to do it on your own. So she got these places. If you follow some checklists I put together, she got some just regular furniture and didn't do what's on HDTV. That's important. You're not trying to sell commercials. You're trying to house an essential worker. Okay. She got things from consignment shops. She kept her prices down, her startup costs down. That's what's smart. Because we're trying to create cash flow. We're not trying to be on a cover of a magazine. We're trying to make people happy. We're trying to astonish people and give them a great experience in a super clean, super comfortable place that's affordable to them and make cash flow. That's what our goal is not to be on TV, right? So we started marketing the place, took pictures, she started following the system I have. Let me tell you about the marketing. I've been showing you this for marketing, but it's really a 3-legged stool approach, online, offline, and social media, because you need them all. You need people to trust you. That's why social media. They need to see pictures over time that you really exist. And then they'll book with you directly. And that's so much more profitable. A lot of people just rely on one leg, and even one website. And Airbnb is awesome, but when stressful times come, they topple over. It will always will, because you need to be able to find your own clients so that you can do this without stress. That takes a risk out of it once you learn how to market that way. There's this great saying that says, you give someone a fish, you feed them for a day, and that's what Airbnb does. They're absolutely amazing at making it dirt simple, okay? And then you can find yourself with a whole bunch of competition, like in Detroit, and people start slashing their prices, and then it's a race to the bottom, That's what happens. So you need to, the saying goes on, it says, if you teach someone how to fish, you feed them for a lifetime. And that's the game I'm in. I'm in game in teaching people how to do it, also experimenting and learning new ways of marketing, so that we can fish for yourself and go on and give your gift to the world. Because I know not everyone's doing what they're meant to be doing, okay, because of the fear of taking care of their families and other things. So once you learn how to get marketing for you can market your place or someone else's places. You can create as much money or much cash flow as you need to. You got to learn that skill. And I got some resources to help you with that. So she started marketing. She found a construction worker, superintendent in town for 10 months. And then we were negotiating back and forth. I was helping her with the pricing because she just wanted to charge $1,600. She wanted to charge twice how much she was renting the place for. And I was like, no, you got to focus on the hotels. He would stay at an extended stay hotel, just beat their rates. She's like, oh, I'm going to feel like I'm gouging him. I feel greedy. I don't want to do that. I'm like, this is where you need a coach to talk you out of your head trash, because we sabotage ourselves. We have all kinds of false stories that we run in our heads, or at least me, I do. Raise your hand. Am I the only one? Do you guys have a bunch of stories that you tell yourselves about what you can't do? Yeah. Yep. Yep. And you can do far more than what you think you can do. You just need someone to help you out. So I told her, hey, he's probably making $3,000 of housing allowance. If you charge him $2,100, he's got nothing less than $2,100. And it was a big fight back and forth with her. And I was like, this is why you need me to coach you. Just trust me. I was a traveler as an engineer for years. Trust me, just do that. And she offered him $2,100 and he snapped it up. Did nothing, no counter, no nothing. He jumped at it because he knew he had a deal. And that's how she started making $900 a month on something she didn't even own. Remember, she rented this place. And there's a lot of benefits to that. Let me share that with you in a second. So now she's like, oh, first deal right off the bat. You know, she now can cover the cost of gymnastics and cover the cost of ballet. And she felt really good about this. You know, she was really afraid that she would get these kids' hopes up and her best friend, you know, and disappoint them. But now she's got a steady income and something she can build on. But let's go into the numbers of this, because I want to be really transparent with you guys, what you can expect. Remember, her client pays her $2,100 a month. He's ecstatic. Big savings, at least $900 a month, a savings for him that he gets tax-free. Okay, so he's happy. And she pays the landlord $850 a month. The landlord's extremely happy that she takes good care of the place. It looks great. Money, she pays 1 day ahead of time. That's the strategy. You want to make a landlord happy, you pay them 1 day ahead of time. That's it. And then, okay, there's Wi-Fi, there's gas, electric, lawn care. All right. So $350 of expenses. If you do the math, at least $900 a month. That's almost $1,000. I mean, that's going to take the weight off of nearly anybody, an extra $1,000 a month. But for her case, her goal was to just cover these lessons, and that's what happened. She's like, oh yeah, I can do this. She can absolutely do that. But here's an interesting point, because Teresa, I know you are a landlord and short-term rental place owner. It's interesting to look at this and see who makes the most money. You see, Rochelle makes $900, the landlord makes $850. So she's making $50 more than the landlord. So that's what's amazing. That's what's eye-opening. Let's look at the landlord a little bit. Now, I encourage you to own properties, so don't get me wrong what I'm saying. I want you to do both. I want you to own them and rent them, okay? Two different toolboxes. But look at the landlord gets $850. He's happy. He's got to pay taxes and insurance, maybe even mortgage, all right? So let's say, for the sake of being really generous, let's say his expenses are only $450, leaving the landlord $400 a month, which is almost unheard of. Most landlords are making like $100 of passive income per month after all expenses and everything, after the water heater replacement and all that stuff. So let's say he's making $400. If the landlord was doing what Rochelle is doing, he'd be making an extra $900. So let's add that together. That's $1,300. That's 3 times. That's a profit of 3 times just by furnishing the place and marketing it for extended stays. All right. So that means the landlord could go out and buy 2 more properties and have to come up with down payments for those to make the same amount of money. Or the landlord can just simply change the way they operate, go for extended stays, and nearly the same amount of work, still month to month check. So that's what's amazing. Look at this. So a year, if a traditional landlord going the regular way would make $4,800, which is good. But if they just shift a nudge a little bit, they make $15,600, right, in a year. That's a big difference for a small decision, you know, and that's, you can see a lot more people coming to grips with that. You can do a lot more. You don't even need so many rentals. You don't need so many rentals. All right, so that's the second insight I want to share with you, is that you can make money off of other people's rentals. This is a smart thing to do. Own some and rent some from other people. It's a smart thing to do. All you have to do is control the rental, all right, and skillfully market it. Skillfully marketing is what takes off the risk, okay? That is, if you were homeless and you knew how to market for extended stay rentals, you would get back on your feet. If you're penniless and you know how to market, you could do it. Here, let me show you what I'm doing. So I have a 2-bed, 1-bath place. I wasn't able to put a washer and dryer in it. I am now. But doing extended stays, you don't want so many people in your unit. Like if you're doing standard Airbnb, yeah, you want as many people in there, you want to charge per person. But if you're doing 30 days and longer, you don't want to do that because your rates stay the same for 6 months, 4 months, 10 months. They stay the same. You don't do the dynamic pricing. You just want low occupancy. That's one of the big differences. So I did this. I staged it with a recliner because I don't want, when people see my pictures, I want them to see, oh, it's not meant for a lot of people. It's meant for the house, just a couple people very comfortably. So that's why I'm looking for a 2-person occupancy. So I kind of make the ultimate home theater for 1 person. You know, that's what I go. So I'm going after my avatar, my ideal person is a 2-person coworker, 2 coworkers traveling together. This unit traditionally would be about $1,190 for this 2-bed, 1-bath without a washer and dryer. You know, it's called a service apartment if it doesn't have a washer and dryer. It's called a corporate housing if it does, if it's standalone. So as a service apartment, I'm renting it for $2,197. You know, that's over $1,000 difference right there. Just by furnishing it simply, strategically. You know, this recliner cost me $50. It was used, you know. So that's an 85% increase on an apartment that I happen to own, just by switching it over. And again, that's how I do it. That's how I was able to replace my engineering income quickly, but by doing this. So all you need to do is control the rental. That's the secret. I'm doing a summary. And if you simply just copy successful people, just copy what the extended stays are doing. It's the smartest thing to do. Don't try to reinvent anything, okay? Because you want the cash flow. If you're looking for cash flow, just copy. All right, was that good for you guys? You guys all right? Let me take a sip of water. Let's get into the secret number 3. This is really important. Now, what I'm sharing with you is not for people who are completely broke. It is not, because you got to learn your money management first, right? But if you have like $5,000 of savings, or you can get your hands on $5,000, that means you have enough financial literacy skills to pull this off and be very, very successful, especially with someone to support you and encourage you along, right? So you don't need a lot of money to do this. You don't need the same amount of money you would to purchase a rental. Like Rochelle, she started off with $4,100. That's her security deposit, first month's rent, right? Furnishings. Remember, she was not buying top of the line, brand new stuff that she saw on TV. She's being resourceful, which is important, because if you take her profit, $900, we built that out, and then you look at it, you do the division, you see that she's going to get all her money back in 4.5 months because she kept her startup costs so low. Now that's amazing. That's life-changing. Right there, that's something that I was trying to tell her, but she didn't really understand. And she told me I have to force people to understand that even if you don't have $4,000, you can borrow it and pay someone back in 4.5 months. That's an amazing thing. All you have to do, That's an amazing thing. All you have to do is know how to market and be resourceful, and you can pay yourself back in 4.5 months. Now, here's the thing I want you guys to understand. This is really important, because once you pay yourself back your startup costs, you can turn around and do the exact same thing again. You start duplicating yourself. This is what you do. This is how you can start stacking things together. Just like a Lego, you stack things together, you can create whatever you can imagine, right? So you stack these things together, and this is what typically happens with most of my students, is that they get one going, and that's about, let's say $500 instead of $900 of profit. Let's just do it with $500 of profit. So that's $6,000 a year. That puts a good dip. That feels really good. Just getting one done, you can get $6,000 a year. I guarantee that. Absolutely. And what happens is that they get bored and they want to do another one. I say, well, how do you feel about marketing? They're like, good. All right, go do another one. And they go do another one. So that's $1,000 a month, of cash flow. Now, if something breaks in that rental, like a water heater, that's the landlord's job. It's not the arbitrager. If there's a roof leak, that is not for them to pay. That's for the landlord to pay. So that's what's amazing. It's insulated, protected cash that you can actually use. So that's $12,000 a month. But once people get two of them, they keep ripping forward and get four, because they understand this thing, how it works, and other people will fund them. So they quickly get up to four. That's $2,000 coming to you every month. That takes a lot of weight. Now, what would you guys do with $2,000 extra a month? I mean, what would be the first thing you would do with it? It definitely covers a car payment. You can have a pretty luxurious vacation. Once you have an extra $2,000, you can stay for your retirement, college kids, activities. Having a good reason why you're going after it really helps you get this. This is how you, once you know the reason you're trying to do it, that's how you get your subconscious in alignment with you. And then once you do that, then you're free to go. Okay, the only thing holding you back is saying you can't do it. If you have an extended stay hotel in your town and your subconscious is saying that you can't do this, you can't afford it, that's a bunch of trash that you just need to get over. And you got to control that piece of it, because it's already done. Look at Alicia. So I was talking to Virginia a couple years back, and she was so excited. She told me she wanted ready to start her family, and she wanted something to replace her income. I said, yeah, you could do this. And she was a house flipper. She had a small crew. So I told her, it typically takes people 30 days to get going and be profitable. But since you already have a crew, you got 15 days. I want you to get up and going and do it in 15 days. And she's like, oh man, that's fast. But she accepted the challenge, and she sent me this thank you note shortly after. She's like, Al, thank you for pushing me out of my comfort zone. And she goes on and talked about how is her guiding beacon, a whole bunch of stuff. But I was answering her questions. I love to support people. I want you to be successful. She said she had four of them. This is 4 months after she started. She had four of them going, and she sent me a screenshot. So she's making over $2,000 a month. So it really works. It absolutely works. And she's got her little one. 1 year later, that's why I do this, because it's one of the most enjoyable things in my life, to help people accomplish their financial goals. Have a mom be able to focus on their baby, and that's what they want. But you can make far more than just $2,000 a month. I like this reinvestment model. You need some skill to learn how to manage this. That's why I say you need some financial literacy skills before you start this, because what this is about is you start with just a little bit of money in the bank, $5,000 in the bank, and then you set up your first rental arbitrage, but you don't spend the money. You let it all go, all the profit go back to the bank. You keep working your 9-to-5 job. You keep putting up with the craziness at work. You just stay focused on living off of your other income, and you let the money accumulate until month 4 you have enough in there to set up your second one, and now your money's being replenished twice as fast. Again, you stay at work, you keep laughing at their jokes or putting up with them, whatever they're saying at lunchtime. Just be nice at work. Keep your job. And then month 7, same thing. Month 10, you have enough money to buy another one. Month 15, same thing. Faster and faster. Your rentals are buying other rentals for you. Now, this is rental arbitrage. They're setting up other rental arbitrages for you so that in month 10, you can start paying yourself. You can start a salary now at month 23, less than 2 years. You can start paying yourself a $10,000 salary. That's $120,000 a year. Steady, without risk. You don't have to work 30 years to retire. If that's enough to cover your bills and you are out, you can keep doing more, but you can definitely retire in 2 years, less than 2 years. Now raise your hand if that's worthwhile. Let me see it. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. A little bit of financial management. You got to leave the money in the bank and use it what it's for. Let it build up so that you can take a salary. Well, that's what happened to Ethan. He was HR manager in the Bay Area, and he was busy at work providing for his family, but he wasn't around. He was always in commute and on BART and whatnot. His girls were growing up, and he realized, man, I'm missing everything. So what he did, he was following me around my different talks in the Bay Area, and he finally got involved. But he was really nervous about it. He was trying to collect information, and I'm like, information will never be enough, because you've got to deal with your subconscious. You got to deal with the fears, all those types of things. Everybody does. That's why I like the examples of elephants, because they're held in place by a little rope and a stake in the ground, and everyone knows that they can pull that out. But they look around, they see other elephants held in place, and they remember the failures of not able to get loose when they were babies. So they have a bunch of head trash. All right. So what they need, how elephant can get free, is having his trainer, someone they trust, to call them forward even though they're strapped in. Help them understand that what used to be the problem is no longer the problem. You definitely got this. That's what they need. That's why I did for Ethan. I told him, absolutely better. You got to do it. My whole reputation's on the line. Other people have helped. We could cover your healthcare costs. We can help you spend time with your family. You just can't be inactive and just in commute most of your life. You got to do this. So he's following the 6 steps, same as Rochelle, and he found a place just outside of San Francisco, because of the laws in San Francisco so restrictive, kind of like Baltimore. So we start playing this game of getting a house that had a bedroom and a bathroom on the first floor, and the 2 bedrooms and a kitchen upstairs. And there's two ways to get into this place: one upstairs, one downstairs. And we added a kitchenette. Well, Ethan added a kitchenette to the one at the bottom and kind of separated the units, kind of created a duplex out of this house. And he rent the upstairs to a business traveler, downstairs to a business traveler, and it started gushing money for him. So he kept at it. He kept doing that. And I said, Ethan, what helped you finally take action? And he said, Jim Rome's a famous business thought leader. And he came with this law of diminishing intent. That's Ethan knew about. It said the longer you wait to do something you should do now, the greater the odds are that you will never actually do it. And he was thinking about him not having time with his kids, just showing up at graduation and wedding and the birth of his grandchildren, missing everything. He's like, it's absolutely unacceptable. I got to get out of that. I like the saying, it says the eagle, if it doesn't see another eagle fly, then the chances of it reaching its potential are greatly diminished. You got to hang out with people who are doing things, who are financially free, who do living off their passive income, and then it's possible. And here's from Ethan. It was just earlier this year. He says, I just launched my 29th and 30th units. And he says, he's asking my private Facebook group, I love your feedback on it. And he talks about San Bruno. And because he created a company called Bay Pillow, puts out $15,000 a month. It's profit after expenses. He has $180,000. It's allowing him to live pretty comfortably in the Bay Area. You can do much more than $2,000 a month. Same principle, starting with a little bit of money, know how to market. Now, Ethan knew Jay was my first student. This is the one that shamed me into coaching. And Jay wanted to travel the world, and that's what he does. That's what he does all the time, full time. And he has a batch of furnished rentals that he has a team in the Philippines operate for him, and a handyman in the Bay Area, San Jose area. And he just travels. That's what he wants to do. He makes over $600,000 a year just doing that. So it's definitely possible. This idea is so solid, and the research that's been done is a proven system. This pandemic proof. That's all you need. You don't have to be original. You just have to invest in something that's proven, that's real, that you can see, and it gives you predictable results. And that's the third insight. You don't need a lot of money. You just need something that's proven and bankable. So that's the three right there. If you want to start making money right away, you just do what's proven. Just copy successful people. And second secret, you can control rentals and get going. You can't even get a bank loan in 30 days, but you can rent a place and start making money within 30 days. So I encourage you to do both. The third thing is that you don't need a lot of money. You do need good financial management habits. You do need to know how to save and not be broke. You do need that because you have to rely on your job or your current source of income while you build this up if you want to create something that's $10,000 a month. And that's the goal I'm trying to get you to. I try to coach people to get to that first stage about $10,000 of profit per month. Okay. So you can try to do all this on your own. You can go through the same mistakes that's taken me years to figure out. Or you can just get the trial and error and copy what works and just use my 6-step system. It's already proven, and just start making money. It's called Extended Stays for Landlords. That's my coaching and training program. And here's what you get. You get an overview so that you can focus on the hotel industry, not on what's going on in Airbnb. Okay. Airbnb is one source of leads. It is not the whole universe. It is one planet in the universe. It is not the entire universe. Okay? And you want to discover your potential, and you discover your potential by understanding the hospitality industry, the extended stay game that's in your town. That's your potential, not what other Airbnb hosts are doing. All right. So that's what we did with Rochelle. She understands that there's either tourists or business travelers. Tourists are great. There's more of them than business travelers, but they cause all the headaches. So let's just focus on the business travelers because we can make the same profit without the time commitment, right? Without the worrying about the parties and all those things. So the next step that you take is you learn how to furnish your rentals so that these travelers want them. And I have checklists for that. This is ones I use. You can order everything. You can click on links and order everything off Amazon, or you can just use it as your shopping guide, and which I encourage you to do. And go find these things at discounts, or have someone else find them at discounts, because you want to keep your startup costs low. And then you learn how to market. That's the fourth step. Market is the most important part. We talk about the 4-legged stool and the 3-legged stool. And I got checklists to help you do that. In fact, I'm training virtual assistants to help do the marketing piece for you. That's something I'm working for my audience, so that we have virtual assistants that are been trained in how to operate the way we do, so that they can very inexpensively operate the whole thing for you. So step 5 is a transition. If you are currently an Airbnb host and you want to do longer stays, you have to change the way you use your calendar, how to transition, so that you can capture these travel nurses and professionals. You got to figure out what they want and how to quickly find them and how to price yourself just right so that they want your place. That's that step. So if you learn all those steps, then you can do cash flow without ownership, which is that rental arbitrage piece, because you take that real powerful marketing, real robust marketing, not just one website, with the place that's located in the great spot with the right furnishings, and that's going to give you the money. Okay. So I have scripts to help you say that, so you can negotiate worksheets to help you find the right spot, like on the fringe, so that the rents are low, but you're still in the great area. And then there's how to create this framework so that you can duplicate yourself without burning yourself out. You know, you can build this cash flow stream just like Ethan and others have. I said all 6 together. The real value of that is the $3,500. Absolutely. Remember, we're trying to create something that's $10,000 per month. That's kind of like the first step. But like I was telling Ethan, information by itself is never going to be enough. You can watch all my websites, all my YouTubes and everything, but you just need someone to help you through and call you forward and help you through the obstacles your subconscious throws up. Okay, so that's why you have a mastermind group and a group coaching. I do that. You can learn from each other people that are doing this. Remember, you want to learn from other eagles. That's what's important. People have the best intentions and they give you advice with the best intentions, but it's real easy to get great advice to the wrong question. That's the thing. You need to learn from other people doing extended stays. That's what's important. Because some people will tell you, hey, do instant book, but we don't do instant books at all. There's a whole bunch of different things that we do that regular Airbnb hosts don't do. So there's a support group that answer all your questions quickly. And I give you daily updates about news and other things that I think you need to know. So there is no limit to this. This is as long as I breathe. The real world value of that is $1,997. That's the first bonus. The second bonus is email support to me and my team. So if you have a question, you get a quick answer from someone who's in the extended stay industry, okay? Because you can get a great answer from Google, but it may not be right for extended stay operation. That's why we give email support. The third one's a huge bonus. It's the biggest one. I give you a 30-minute one-on-one with me. I study your location, and we create a personalized action plan just for you to help you accomplish whatever transformation you're trying to accomplish. And then we have a resource pack, all the things that I've created for other people, whether you're trying to scale your business, you're looking for legal lease agreements, you're looking for addendums, whatever it is, all these things, how to raise money, all the things are in this resource pack, okay? So it's typically during this time, I help someone increase their cash flow about $500 a month during this one coaching session. So it's definitely worth, without no hyperbole, a $2,500 coaching session with all these resources. Just the legal work alone is worth more than $2,500. All right. So if you put it all together, the 6 steps is $3,500. The first bonus, which is group coaching, is about almost a $2,000. The email support, that takes a lot of time. So that's unlimited. That's a value of $1,997. And then the private coaching with all those resources is a $2,500 value. Remember, this is to create a personalized action plan for you to follow for your situation in your location, okay? So if you add all that together, the value is $9,994, but I'm not gonna charge you that, but I'm not making any excuses. Remember, we're trying to create something that has a $10,000 per month income stream. That's where I want to get you to, so that you can have the option to be financially free. All right, so that's what it is. But like Warren Buffett says, the best investment you can make is investment in yourself, and that's what I'm asking you to do. Make an investment in yourself, because the more you learn, the more you earn, and that's why I'm going to do whatever I can for you, such as reduce this. I think the value is definitely there, but today is and you see on my website is I standardly charge for the enrollment $1,997. But stick around, I got a bonus for you guys, extra bonus. Now I'm giving you this whole thing is being offered with 110% guarantee. All right, that's saying that if you don't make 3 times your investment in the first year, I'm going to refund all your money, and then I'm paying you 10% on that money that you had. So there's absolutely nothing you can possibly lose. If you don't make 3 times your investment, then I'm going to give you all your money back plus 10%. That's what it is. And you got 3 days to review this whole course as well. But I'm really confident, because housing people who are on extended stays is the key to creating passive income that you need to reach your financial goals without burning yourself out. Can't stress that enough. And that's only attainable through the 6-step system that's been proven over the years with a coach. That's me, who's already been battle tested. I got the scars. I got my eye gouged out. I'm here to guide you, and the support group of your peers to keep you on task. All right. So that's the world value. You go to extendedstaylandlord.com to pick it up. I typically ask questions, but I've been running long. Here are the questions I get. Hey, will this work in a rural area? And I'm like, hey, there's no extended stay hotels there. It may work, but it may not. It's best to go where the homework has already been done. Find locations that have extended stay hotel. And then the second question is, there's Airbnb ordinances all up and down in my town. Will this work? And my answer is, when you do over 31 days, you're kind of operating under the landlord-tenant laws, and you're dealing with month-to-month landlording. Those ordinances don't apply to month-to-month landlords. And I can get into that with you later. And then the third one is, why would a landlord allow you to use their properties? Why won't they do it themselves? That's probably a really, really good question. I think it's good, because they should. They could make 3 times their profit if they simply switch over. But there are landlords who just want to be passive, and that's the ones you want to deal with. The ones who just want to be passive, and some of them also, they're motivated by not having to deal with all these crazy rent control laws, because they don't have to deal with that with you, so they're motivated. So there it is, the 6 steps. The first 6 steps is like the map for your journey, and then the bonuses is kind of like the support you need on this journey to financial freedom, and the resources is like the equipment that you're going to need. So you got it all. It's at extendedstaylandlord.com. But here's the big gift. I want to give you guys a discount code that's good for today. It's good to 7 p.m. Pacific time, 10 p.m. Eastern time. Is this date stamp 05/27/21. Okay, we got a few of them available for everyone. We got a small group here, but you need to take action on it. That's it. So how do you do it? I'm also giving you payment plans as well. But that brings the price down to $1,697. This is for something that we're going after. And you're going to make more than that. If you just don't even try very hard, you make $6,000 a year, which is one of these things. And with nearly everybody stumbles forward and makes $2,000 a month. So my goodness. And then I give you payment plans just to help you out, because I know your subconscious may be telling you can't afford it, you can't do this. So I really want to help you forward. You go to extendedstaylandlords.com and you click on the enroll in the course, and then you're going to see this add coupon button. That's where you add that code 05/27/21. Okay, that's good for a few more hours. So it's extendedstaylandlords.com. Now at this point, what time is it? Oh, I went too long. I'm sorry about that. You could do 3 things. You could do nothing, and I don't think you made this far to do nothing, because a year from now, you know what your income's going to be, you know what your life is going to be. Most likely that's not tolerable. It wasn't tolerable for me. Those are people I'm looking for. So the next thing you may do is you may try to do all this on your own. You may listen to all my podcasts, interviews I've done over the years, and read everything on my blog, get all my books, go through everything in my YouTube channel and everyone else's podcasts and things. And you'll eventually be okay. I mean, you're going to make your share mistakes. But if you do all that, you're eventually going to be okay. Hopefully you'll get started if you're a do-it-yourselfer. The third way is just let me help you. Just let me help you make money. We can start right now in the next 30 days and be up and going, change your life. All right, that's really what I'm trying to do. All right, so you guys got any questions? I know. Thank you for being here. I know I went long. I try to keep it to an hour, but go ahead and unmute yourself if you guys have any questions. I hope to work with you guys. I know I can help you, especially if you have extended stay hotels in your area. But if not, shoot me an email. I'm looking forward to working with you. extendedstaylandlord.com. And remember the code that'll be good for a few hours today is 05/27/21. All right. Send me an email if you have any questions. Payment plans are available. I'll customize them for you. All right. Take care.